have our guest, Basit Busari, who is a legal practitioner, joining us virtually this morning to have this conversation. Thank you so much, Basit Busari, for joining us.
Good morning, viewers. Good morning, house.
Thank you. It's a delight.
Thank you for having me.
Right. You know, we're talking about access to justice and economic inequality, examining the economic barriers to legal services. First off, what are the most significant economic barriers to accessing legal services in your experience as a legal practitioner over the years? Let's kick off with that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Basically, access to justice is a fundamental and inalienable right of all citizens. However, when you look at the economic situation of the country, especially in this part of the world we have, so there are certain factors that affect the barrier to justice, such as poverty. Can I say poverty, custom too? When we look at custom, people have this idea of going to court is can I say, I won't say it's a taboo, but it's a big deal. So people are discouraged from approaching the court to ventilate their rights. Then lack of proper education is one of it too. Matters in which people are meant to ventilate their rights, they won't take it up until it goes out of hand. And when you ask them, I don't know how I'm meant to see a lawyer, I don't even know how to get a lawyer, or just like that. I think.
Basit, are you there?
Okay, the network is quite unfriendly this morning. We'll do well to, have Basit join us. Are you there, Basit Busari? All right, producer, we'll get him back on the line in a moment.
Yes, I was even going to ask him that. He said education, which is quite cool. People are not even aware. I was even going to ask him that. So how do you make the common man know that, they say this, that when a police officer arrests you and when you're being taken to the station, you're not supposed to write a statement without legal representation.
There with you.
Do the police even let you know your rights? Because, if you look at in movies, in Hollywood movies, when you see an arrest being made, the person is being read his right. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to a lawyer. And if you cannot provide one will be provided for you. So they are actually reading him. But in Nigeria...
No. I've seen cases where they actually read out the right. But I think, first off, as a person, you actually have to know your rights, first off. That's the first thing. You have to know your right. Now you know that it's a police officer cannot just stop you and go through your phone. It has been stated that if you're driving and you're not with your driver's license and you're stopped, you have 24 hours to produce your driver's license. You need to first understand your rights before even asking them to read up. So when you know it, it's easier for you to deal with it. But we have Basit Busari back on the line. Thank you for joining us again.
Sorry about the network.
Yeah, it's understandable. Please go on.
Yes. So, economic status too is a determinant factor. When we look at it, the airlines who have the money and who are well read don't take their rights for pleasure. They understand what it is to ventilate their rights, to approach the courts, to get justice. But at the lower cadre of especially people who are economically disadvantaged, even if you want to ventilate your rights, it is seen as if you cannot afford the services of a lawyer. So then you resort to God. You resort to God that we will leave God to solve everything.
All right, thank you very much. Now, you mentioned something about people not being aware. So how can we create an environment of awareness? I mean, if you go on the street and ask people, how many people are even aware of the Constitution and what their rights are? So how can we bridge this gap, especially those who are, if I might say, the less privileged?
Thank you very much. That duty is on all of us. Those of us who are lawyers, those of us who are lawyers, the media practitioners, even the government. That's why we have agencies like NOA. They are meant to educate the people about at least the basic rights they have. They are meant to know it. These are your fundamental rights. When the police approach you, you cannot be kept more than 24 hours or maximum of 48 hours without being charged to court. And all these basic rights, there are ways in which you can disseminate it down to the grassroots. Up north, it is believed farmers or even elders, they go around with their radios where they hear BBC Hausa or just like that. We can use such platforms to disseminate and educate people to understand their rights, to at least the basic rights, so as nobody would infringe on their rights. And once they infringe on their rights, they know the next step to take.
Basit, Busari, I would like to interrupt you for a bit. Now, you mentioned that a follow-up question on that, at least one of the things is police is not supposed to hold you down for 48 hours without charging you. But it seems to be the opposite in Nigeria. I want to focus on Nigeria. If I would use the case of this last protesters and bad governance protesters that were detained from 1st to 2nd to 3rd of August and what have you, as at Wednesday, there have been reports that they've not even been charged, which is about 2-3 weeks after. So when we know our rights, but the people that are at the helm of affairs, or what, for lack of better words, the people that are supposed to help protect us are not going in line with what is stipulated, how then do we navigate through that? Because I know my right, but you're keeping me for over 2 weeks without charging me.
Thank you very much. Like I said, if we all understand our basic rights, a lot will get better in our system, especially the administration of justice system, which the police is a part of. The Constitution provides that when a person is arrested, especially when it's a bailable offense, when it's not a capital offense, you cannot keep the person for more than 24 hours, or in different cases, a maximum of 48 hours. Within that period, after that period, you must charge the person to court. This was envisaged by the drafters of our Constitution against a situation whereby we have arbitrary use of power, where people will just be detained without being prosecuted. Now, when that has happened, the law has also created a forum for you to enforce your fundamental rights, to protect yourself. That is why we have the fundamental right enforcement procedure in court. Not many people know that. And people who feel, approaching a lawyer will bring, will lead to more expenses. Then we also have a problem in this part of the world. Instead of engaging a lawyer, people prefer to give police money to secure bail than engaging the services of a lawyer.
Right.
Don't you think that might in a way be cheap, even though it's not the right way, but for them I think it's cheaper than accessing a lawyer? And a follow-up question is, can you share an example of a case where economic barriers hindered access to justice and how you addressed it?
Thank you very much. For instance now, let me start from the second one. For instance, now, a situation is this. For example, we have all this minor. Let me use tenancy matter for example.
Okay.
A landlord arbitrarily, without, there are procedures when you want to eject a tenant from the house, services of statutory notice and all just like that. There is a situation whereby the landlord takes law into his hands, just goes into the tenant's house and pack his load out. The tenant has his right to protect. The law is there to protect him. Now, if he's a person of means, he will be able to do that by getting a lawyer or reporting to the police and maybe charging the landlord to court to prosecute him. But someone who is not of means will most likely say, okay, the money I have, let me go and use to get another place. Instead of giving the little money I have to a lawyer to prosecute my case.
Right. You know, because of our time, I'll just take you up on this last question that has to do with technology, right? What role do you think technology, you know, has to play in increasing access to legal services for those that are economically disadvantaged? In about 1 minute.
Yes. Thank you very much. Technology has a lot of role to play. For instance, now, with the generation we are coming of AI technology, those in the legal sector and those in the tech sector can come up with applications that can be used to educate the ordinary man on his rights. Then also in the justice sector at the court level, technology can be used in making sure that cases are dispensed with faster. For instance now, with technology now, we can do virtual court sessions. Instead of having to wait for everyone to converge in a room, we can do virtual court sessions, even if the person is not in the country or far off.
Okay.
Then, for instance, one of the problems we have that makes cases take a while in court, our judges have to write in longhand. They have to write in longhand. Technology can help through recorders. Okay. Record the whole session. The judge doesn't have to stress himself to write in longhand. So those kind of things would help in the speedy dispensation of justice.
Okay.
And which that in itself will encourage more people to approach the court. Because one of the things that discourages people from coming to court is that cases in court take a long time.
All right. You know, that's a very safe place to land, but we have to wrap up the conversation this morning because our time is fast spent. Thank you so much. We'll be sure to, you know, pick up this conversation some other time when the need arises. Thank you, Basit Busari, for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Enjoy the rest of your day. You too.